Thank you. Yeah, the comment you made previously that we rise to the expectations around us. And I know that's been a life issue as far as figuring out what I want as opposed to what other people want. I know it started with my parents and their expectations, and then finding my way through that through survival, one thing or another. And you've helped me a lot into the receiving mode with work and with different ideas. But I know that there are a lot of beliefs stuck in there. And my solution in the past was I had certain beliefs, but I didn't think I could achieve them. So I diminished my desire in order to not have the conflict between the belief and the desires. Now as I'm putting that all back in right stead, I'm trying to undo beliefs. And I know I have certain beliefs about aging. So as I'm getting 57 age now, that my eyesight's starting to diminish from 20/20 to, I can't see them here and a little bit further out. And other kind of beliefs that are sort of like time bombs almost, that I've held for a long time, and I know as I get older, these things are manifesting. Like I'd like to lose 50 or 60 pounds. But I put that as a desire, maybe almost a mantra saying, I want to be happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And then focus on that with affirmations and gratitude and different things like that. But it doesn't seem to lose the weight. And then in the gradual day-to-day experiences, I know I have a belief, well, if I exercise an hour in the morning and an hour at night, that would take care of it and I'd lose weight. But as day goes by, I don't do those kind of things. So I'm trying to find ways to bring in more receiving with the gratitude and the focus. I know it worked really well when I went into a store and I wanted to buy a part. And I saw that now they carry a different brand line because they were going to make a little more money with it. But I could see I could go into blame and martyr about, they're taking advantage of people and not giving the right part. But I decided to choose, into gratitude. These Home Depots are all over the place. If I need something, I can find something in 15 minutes. And just in that transition of thought choice, I had a great idea that was an answer about something totally unrelated. I said, this stuff really works, so I've had a lot of fun with it. But I want to shift some of those deep-seated beliefs so that I don't have a culminating event with my body. I'd like to take care of that now and lose the weight and be in a more healthy kind of position with what I want.
Well, as you were offering the mantra of, I want to be healthy, wealthy, and wise, very good mantra, but you also unwittingly were offering some other mantras like, I'm stuck. In other words, anything that you continue to repeat, whether it is something about what you want or something about what you don't want, serves the same purpose, you see. We wanted to say to you in response to your word stuck, I've got some beliefs that are stuck in there. They're not stuck in there. Most of them are dormant unless you activate them. And we think it is helpful to recognize that beliefs that hinder are not problematic unless they are activated. And when they are activated, you are alerted to the fact that they are activated by negative emotion. Rather than walking around worried that there are all kinds of hindering beliefs that are lurking, ready to zap you in some way, instead say, they're not an issue unless they're activated, and when they are activated, I'm feeling myself doing that thing I do, in which case I can choose a thought that feels better, and then just little by little by little, you bring yourself more and more into the receiving mode. So doing things like you did, where you felt yourself feeling a little initial blame, you caught yourself doing that thing you do. And you chose, because you caught in the early stages before it swept you away into a whole bunch of activation of a whole bunch of other belief, you caught yourself doing it, and you chose to feel appreciation for the facilities being all over the nation, all over the place, so easy for you to have access to, and you brought yourself into balance. And you answered your question more beautifully with your own offering than we could offer with anything else. So just do that about more things, and before you know it, you'll be more in alignment with your own well-being and the desires that you've been setting forth than not.
Well, like with I focus, I didn't know whether to focus on where it is in focus and say, I really appreciate being able to see well and enjoy that. Whether that was also having the negative message to it, or that's the A and the B.
Well, you can tell by the way you feel about it. Or you could feel appreciation for glasses that bring it into perspective. In other words, it's exactly the same thing, though, isn't it? You could feel blame, or you could feel appreciation. When you tell it like it is, and like it is doesn't please you, then you hold yourself in a vibration where it cannot change. So when you say, the fact of it is that I'm not seeing as well, and I'm going to bolster that fact by acknowledging my age, and then I'm going to bolster these negative facts by comparing them with a lot of other people who have had a similar experience, and then I'm going to stand in a place of deficiency or vulnerability about all of that. We say, fact or not, truth or not, how is it serving you? You can tell by the way you feel. And you say, well, it feels lousy. And we say, the fact that it feels lousy is a much bigger issue than the fact that you can't see as clearly as you'd like to. I'm using this inability to see as clearly as I would like to as my current or temporary excuse to not allow the well-being to flow. So not only am I not likely to begin to focus more clearly, but I can't make my way easily to a mechanism that could afford it. Sometimes if you're feeling appreciation for what is working and or for what you can see, in that appreciation, through the crack of least resistance, an apparatus comes to you, or an ability to focus, or a procedure. In other words, things unfold to make it very nice. But in your discomfort about it, then you make an appointment and the appointment falls through, and when you get there, the guy's had a bad day and he doesn't do a good job, and he fits you with lenses that don't work, and you're blinded by them, and there's this big space where you cannot see, and the contraption is a disaster and you really don't like it. Where if you are appreciating, in your optimism, the best of things unfold for you, and in your pessimism, the worst of things unfolds for you, whatever is unfolding is a match to the way you feel. So physical friends argue with us quite a bit about this. They'll say, Abraham, the fact of the matter is my body is diminishing. Even though it's true, talking about it causes a vibration that perpetuates this thing that you do not want. And then they say, well, if I didn't perpetuate this thing I do not want, wouldn't my body still decline? Isn't that the way it always works? And we say, no, it isn't the way it always works. And then they say, well, isn't it the way it usually works? And we say, it works that way with many as they keep activating beliefs that have come before, but it does not need to. So what your question is about, how can I choose among the beliefs that surround me, those that serve me? And we say, be aware when you do that thing you do that keeps it from serving you, you always feel negative emotion. Very often people will say, well, this thought is true. And we say, we don't want to discuss whether it's true anymore. We want to discuss how it feels when you chew on it. If that could be your criteria, your only criteria, how does this thought feel when I verbalize it? How does this thought feel when I stay focused on it? How does this thought feel when it gets bigger? And law of attraction really helps you, because sometimes an initial thought, you don't feel much. But as you stay with it longer and it vibrates stronger, then you begin to feel it. So the key is, at the point that you begin to feel any negative emotion, stop and laugh and say, glory be, my guidance system is alerting me to the fact that I've chosen something to focus upon, true or not, irrelevant, that is not allowing me to be a match to what I really want. These are not the first time you're thinking these thoughts. You've thought these thoughts quite a few times. And in all that process of thinking those thoughts, you've told the universe what you want. You've told the universe again and again and again. The universe knows what you want. That's not in question. You don't have to keep saying, I hope you haven't forgotten that I would like to see clearly, or I hope you haven't forgotten that I want to thrive in my physicalness. The universe knows that. You don't have to talk about it anymore. All you have to do is feel as good as you can feel, as much as you can feel, about as many subjects as you can feel them about. And do you know, you don't even ever have to think about your body again. You could find some subject that's easy to feel good about, focus on that really, really a lot, and in focusing on the thing that is easy to feel good about, you'd be in the state of allowing, so that all of the things on all of the subjects that you've been asking about could easily flow into your experience. That's why when someone finds a new and wonderful occupation, or when someone finds a new and wonderful relationship, often everything in their life begins to line up. Not because they went to the gym, not because they exercised twice a day, but because in their exhilaration and in their new focus that takes more of their attention, they are allowing more than they are not allowing, so the things that they've been asking for begin to line up for them. You're discovering that it isn't about action. It's about inspiration. And sometimes that inspiration becomes inspired action. But when you make yourself do something in order to get rid of something that you don't want, your emphasis and your vibration is more about what you're wanting to get rid of. So you're actually holding yourself in this place you do not want to be. The big question, how do I get from my awareness of what I don't want to a place that I'm letting what I do want in? How can I be aware that I'm sick, or aware that my husband is sick, or aware that I weigh 60 pounds more than I want to, or aware that I can't see as clearly as I want to? How can I be aware of the truthful facts of my now reality and change them? And we say, by being less aware of the truthful facts of your reality and more aware of the possibilities, more aware of the probabilities. And you say, well, I'm compelled to tell it like it is. And we say, one factor has to click into place before the compulsion will be to think about where you're going rather than to think about where you are. One factor, you have to want to feel good. You have to want to feel good more than you want to tell the truth. That's what has to shift within you. It has to be more important that you feel good. So if you were to talk to your inner being and you were to say, or if anyone were, if we were to say, inner being of this dear friend, how do you behold him? Your inner being would say, he is a delight to our gaze. And we would say, as a physical prodder, don't you think he weighs too much? And your inner being would say, in our eyes, he is perfect in all ways. Your inner being does not see the flaw that you choose to see. Well, inner being of this dear friend, we do not think you are being truthful, because we can behold him. We see him having trouble seeing. We see him weighing more than he wants to weigh. We see him aware of his deficiencies. What do you have to say about all of that? Are these not truthful facts that we are stating? And your inner being would say, everything is in the eye of the beholder. As you choose to see them, your world becomes that which you have chosen to see. But what about the truth of things? What about reality? This is how it is. My husband is sick in the hospital, or there is not enough money, or my lover has left me, or my body is not the way I want it to be. How can you deny these truths? And Source Energy says to you, there are not such truths. Everything is in the eye of the beholder. And you say, well, there's plenty of physical evidence that supports these truths that I know are the way that it is. And we say, it is only because you have focused that way that it is that way. Try focusing another way and watch how fast it becomes. The key is you have to want to feel good more than anything else. So in the same way that you might choose a movie that is uplifting, do you ever choose your movies because you want to be uplifted? Do you say, oh, let's just flip a coin and whatever happens, happens? Do you go to a restaurant where you believe you will be pleased, or do you say, I'll just take my chances? I hate Chinese food, but I'm going to a Chinese restaurant. Maybe they'll surprise me today. You are deliberate about many things. You must be selfish in your desire to feel good. So selfish that you just don't want to go there. Have you ever had a friend, or have you ever had a past subject that was painful or uncomfortable, and you just don't go there? You just don't go there. You've been there, it didn't feel good, you don't want to go there. And nobody can talk you into going there. And we would like you to reach the place where nobody can talk you into ever going anywhere in thought that does not really feel good to you. That you're just so stubbornly aligned to feeling good that you're just, no subject is big enough or real enough or truthful enough or factual enough or important enough that you're willing to go there if it doesn't feel good. That's what the art of allowing is. Many of our physical friends would say, well, Abraham, that doesn't seem very reasonable. And we say, and yet that's the way your inner being is. That's the way your source is. That's why the stream is abundant with well-being, you see. So your question is, how do I go about it? You have to make a decision first that you want to feel good. Do you think you've made that decision?